that's what I tell people. Be careful how you read and what you read, because they can be deceptive. Pastors, read books. Go and read books. Read other perspectives. For you to gain a perspective, you have to read other perspectives. Don't just come here and just tell us, listen, what you know about the Bible is not all what you see in that Bible. There are other things connected to that. Historical perspective are connected to that scriptural references you are referencing. Historical perspective. If you don't know that, I want you to know that today. There are historical perspective of that Bible. There are historical perspective of that Quran that you don't know about. The only thing you know is to open the Bible and read. And sometimes you read, you are even confused of what you're reading, because there is an aspect of historical perspective that you don't know of. So that's why you read some passages, you are confused, because you don't know from which perspective you're reading. And so you confuse yourself. Read. Continue to read, and you have a perspective that will help you to preach, that will help you to what? To do your Bible study. I'm not against Christianity. I'm not against Islam. In fact, I would say I was a Christian. I continue to practice as a Christian. But there are so many things I have devoided. I have so many things I have deviated from that are lies. There are so many lies that are being perpetuated in that scripture we call Bible. There are so many lies. I'm not even afraid to say it. There are a lot of lies, and until the church and the mosque, until they are straightened up, there's nothing good will come out of Sierra Leone. Now, only when the church and the mosque then straighten us alone, now everything will be straightened up. Listen to what Paul Kagame do na Uganda. What is it? Rwanda. Maybe that for be an example for us in Sierra Leone. Paul Kagame, he closed a lot of thousands of churches there, Rwanda. You know why? He said, now, if you start a church, you forget a degree. He said, anybody where they can Rwanda now, where say they can't start church, you forget degree first before you start a church. Which is true. Which is true. The reason I have this perspective, because I am learned. The reason why I have this perspective, because I did philosophy, psychology. I did all of this subject because it's supposed to help you. It's supposed to help you. That is what it is supposed to do to you and me. And indeed, it don't reach time that salon where we need for begin for say, listen, these mushroom churches, before you go, you forbid what? You forget a first degree. If you forbid an imam, you forget a first degree for being an imam. You forbid a Baha'i, you forbid Hindu or this, you forget. Listen, guys, I don't care whether you hate me or not, but when you begin to understand, you are the open when you begin to understand truth. When you begin to know, say, these are things that I should focus on. Who told you? Listen, until you go back, and I tell you, the deceptive practices of that Bible, it run to history. Every time you look a movie about biblical movies, it's always a white person. Biblical movies, you guys don't know this thing. That most of these places that is being, these are African countries. Most of these people, they are Africans. Some of them black Africans, some of them white, brown Africans. You don't know that because you just read the Bible. We call these Moabites, we call these Amorites and everything. These are Africans. But every time we see a movie, it is what? White person. Now white person. Every time you watch a movie, now white person. Because we have been deceived through history. Friends, Christians, go and read. Go and read and your perspective will change. Why do you think they're having an African Bible? Why do you think? What you make you feel say they don't get an African Bible? In fact, that one they're far away from the truth. Because they try for cushion certain things. Listen, I am not saying anything I don't know. I'm saying what I know. I studied theology for 5 good years. People studied for 4. I did for 5. I also study what? Philosophy of theology. Go back to time. Listen, that makes them say African Bible. Now they don't get African Bible. Because they try for deviate, for come back to the truth of what happened. Will they come back to the truth of what? The history of black people in the Bible. And I go there against this, they die. That what you would preach say this is the Bible is not exactly what the Bible is supposed to be. They have doctored, these white people have doctored that thing. They don't doctor that book. They say until now black people they say don't get sense. They don't go to history. We don't begin to see the facts of history. That this whole book is talking about Africans. The Jesus you are talking about was African. Oh, you go say, hey, this don't blaspheme. Go back and study. Go back and do your research. And you go no say the Jesus where you talk so when they put as white man, na be African. He was an African. You know, when you talk and people they begin to grinch, they begin to say, hey, this is not for talker. Go do your research. As I say this, if you're not a pastor, if you're not a church leader, go and do your research. Maybe we'll not get them books in a salon. I can for go now like a synagogue. For that go meet some of them books there. A synagogue. Now yeah, in America. Because I never had the opportunity to have one in Sierra Leone. I had to go to a synagogue. Go back and look at the apocryphal books that were written for black people. Then pull them come out because of black people they write them. Pull them books then they come out. So they're not what? Canonical. They're not canonized. There are certain history where black people therefore know where they don't know. And I make we have been deceived. And until the church go back and rewrite history, especially the African church, until we go back and rewrite history, anything they do in a saloon, not for nothing. Not for nothing. The church and the mosque then therefore go back and write the history of religion. We're applicable to Africans. If we don't write the religion we're applicable to Africans, it is not going to work. Anything we do in Sierra Leone, it's for nothing. The church and the mosque are supposed to lead the way. But now we take the backstage. Because the corrupt practices were done at the church. As I tell you, I don't pastor for 19 years. I can raise my hands. I'm not saying I'm 100%, I'm perfect. But I have never stolen anybody's money in that church. Never. I can raise my hand on air. If you know I stole money from that church, I'm not going to call the church. Come here and tell me that I stole money from that. I have never put a hand on anybody's money in that church. I can stand here and say it. And that is what is happening in the church today. You know most money there, they don't thief in our churches there. Inside free talk. I don't want to call names. You know most money there. And we are so corrupt. Then we want to correct the hills of Sierra Leone. Corrupt. You cannot take corruption and correct a corrupt country. We are corrupt. Muslim, Christian, the pastor and the imam, most of them, I know they say all. You get some pastors the way you know say yes, they are doing the right thing. But the majority of pastors and imam in our country, they are very corrupt. They are all looking for money. You get few where you know say they serve God with all their heart. Then they serve God genuinely. But you have some, I have spent 19 years with pastors. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. I almost said they miss for kill me in that country. 3 times. 3 times. When they shoot me with which gun? 3 times. Not 1, 3 times. And these are men of God. They call themselves men of God. They call themselves men of God because of position. Let me tell you something. Until the church and the mosque they change, hey, nothing better no go in a saloon. I can tell you that. Nothing better no go in a saloon. Until the church and the mosque they make a U-turn, they change and say we want to do something better. We want for there to be example for the nation of Sierra Leone. Nothing no go better than that country today. There's nothing. Because the church gets and the mosque then get so many things for offer saloon. As I say, I'm not an anti-religious person. No, I'm not. I have pastored for. I am not. I just abhor the way how religion they act in Sierra Leone. That is what I abhor. Corruption you did from the church. So what you go tell the neck official say? We thief 10 million. Because that thief that money they. The amount they spend is $2.something million. The rest all don't go to private pockets of people. So what as pastor, what you go tell her? What you go talk? Tell me about what you go talk. You don't get nothing for tell them. There's nothing a pastor or a imam gets for tell somebody who don't thief that money. They know because you have not thief man. You have not thief woman. So what you get for a good talk? I always say this story, and so tell the person one day go come out. When I did I know they call the church. I don't make this reference several times. We go to CCSL and go give you rest. They go give you oil with some money for the church. This church member, I remember when I'm a church member. They're not the same church. They talk to pastor, say, Lord, sell the things, Lord, shape the money. This na pastor, na church member. Now leader back na church, leader of an auxiliary group na church. He say, let connive, let sell the rest, sell the oil and shape the money. They will balance what shape all thing. Now look at me, I say, I don't do it because of that church member. I do it because at that time was the war. It was during the war. And people were suffering. People literally would go find church member there, you'd know say this person they suffer. Then you tell me, say, let me you shape 100 bags of rice. Low shiba. No, I not did it. I not mix. I tell them plain, I say, he left smaller before don't call the person name. He left smaller. I say, now me they say low go sell. I say, you know most people that they suffer. You know most people that don't visit inside 2 weeks where they suffer. I say, you expect me for sell this area, then I all the money put on my pocket. I say that conscience day, it not go serve me right. I wish that person they watch me now. You know what he say? You know what he tell me? He say, Pastor, he say, I wish like you kind and they now we mission. He say, I wish you kind and they now we mission. Nobody no know. Now me no more. You go give it. Nobody no know. We for do anything with her. Nobody no know. But for me, it's the conscience. How you go feel. How you go feel. You go back, you go visit that person they back. You see that person they certain a dry rice they eat also. Tell not get nothing. So you tell you say, Pastor, not get nothing for it today. Then you don't put that money in your pocket. I just wonder how you could feel. I just wonder. Maybe that's why I'm not able to build a house in Freetown. Because I had a job way before make I able to build a house in Freetown, but I did not build a house because of my generosity. I am that kind of person that will not see anybody suffer. I get people that will men get problems. Then this just one panel call me. We will get problem, serious problem. But when you don't explain in problem done, it's just oversight. I am telling you, I had to forgive you. Tell me anything you tell me, I had to forgive person. That I can tell anybody that. But I get so much sorrow heart that sometimes it can overshadow what somebody don't do me. And this forgiveness, of course, now another story for another day. And don't make we subservient people in a saloon, subservient, who don't become so down with them that You know, but then for another day. But what they say is until the church and the mosque then change, nothing no go happen. I have a 19-year ministry record. I have, if a church and mosque not change in Salone, nothing not go change. Because these same people that own a wonder will change, then they kind of church and the mosque, then they see how the pastor and the imam then they behave, then they go back and put up that same behavior there. Now then they kind of the church and the mosque. Then people, the same corrupt people also. Now then they at the church, now then they at the mosque. These same people within a neck, we don't thief 10 million so. Now the same people then at the church, now then they at the mosque. Then they see what they happen at the church, then they see what they happen at the mosque. Then they see how pastor they siphon church funds for himself. This same church member, some of them went at treasurer, some of them went at this. Then they see all what they do as pastor there, as imam there. What do you expect themselves to do if they get the opportunity, the way money land na they hand? They go do the same thing where you the pastor, where you the imam they do. Now the same thing they say go do. So until the church and the mosque then change, until the pastor and the imam say then change, nothing no go change na Salone. Nothing, we no go see any change. That I can tell anybody true. Nothing no go change na Salone. As long as the church and the mosque then continue for the side and day. Look what it happened. Where they kill people there. Defenseless people. And kill them. What did the church and the mosque then say? Nothing. Everybody is afraid to die. Jenani Lumumba. Remember, we talk about Jenani Lumumba. Now Uganda. We talk to Idi Amin about the ills where Idi Amin they do. And the process he lost in life. Idi Amin kill him. But the man in motto, now that, he said what? The body they may kill. I be Jenani Lumumba in motto down there, the body they may kill. Who said them beggar become tourist attraction? Tourists then they go there. Tourists then they go see this man in gravesite. Because he left a legacy. He left an example. You know, as a church leader, let your church member they see the example. You are not a perfect person. Trust me, we all not perfect. And they tell you, very clear in biblical references, very clear in the Quran, we are not perfect. But the Bible says what you will lead after, lead towards. You cannot be perfect, but there are certain things in the way where you for make you people they know, especially the area of corrupt practices. Now one of the things that the way they destroy a nation, they destroy a church. I have seen several churches where because of corrupt practices at the church, it destroyed them churches today. The same thing with the mosque. I don't see several mosques where it don't destroy mosque then because of corrupt practices from one leader to the other. Then they change leader almost every now and then because of corrupt practices. As an imam, as a pastor, now you they connive with your church member for each church money. Look at them pastor then in a free time. Then did they? When I was a pastor, I don't say a lot of pastors where they connive with treasurers for each church money. We don't see them. Not that you will hide. We don't see. Church leaders there. They mix man corruption with the church member there. I know they do on me. No. I will never connive with a church member for cause harm to the church family. I don't see a lot. The church will have been served. I don't see a lot. I have never, ever been a part of that corrupt practices in that church. You can go there and ask about me. They know me. And maybe now that make at the end of the day, God will bless me. Give me a job. Because he knows, say, this boy be the suffer. And I was suffering, trust me. I was in, I be the Calbaton. And they can right inside town, na church. Go for take transport. Go for struggle. For kind of church. But I never, ever be a part of that corrupt practice. Never, ever. Thousands of dollars were taken away. Thousands of dollars. I will not be a part of that. And then all of them, except they want to lie, Except they want to lie. They can accuse me of any other thing, but not financial fraud or corruption. They will not accuse me of that. Accuse me that I have a hot temper. Accuse me I don't forgive people easily. No, yes, that's me. I don't forgive people easily. You can accuse me of that, but when it comes to corruption, no. Except that church want to lie about me. But they will never mention that. They will never mention something like that. And that's why God blessed me with a job. And I became the center of attraction. You know, I always say this to a colleague pastors where I get the job. I tell them, I say, if you're patient, you go eat the fruit. If you're patient. You know, I'm patient. It was not easy. So suddenly where I go sleep. I have never in my entire life, I not ever go sleep that side and day. One side there by Tombo, where house not even exist there. You know, can't build a house. You only get for build touch roof or touch building. All side for be touched. Because the sand not able for grip the blocks there. It go them attempt for build a bury. In fact, you go down the sand. I sleep at that place. You the day inside, outside, you sleep, you see outside. I was patient. As a pastor, as an imam, if you're patient, I'm telling you, something good will happen to you. Now somebody go see one good work inside you and bless you. But when you mix your hand and corrupt practices inside the church, you will never be blessed. I guarantee you that. You will never be blessed. I took a lot of ventures on my own. Suffering. Going through hardship. Provocation from some of you won't know the church where they talk about. This high-class church. And you did it, you don't get that, you don't get mutuka, you don't get this, you know, the clothes self with the way, you know, commensurate as a pastor. I'm telling you the truth. You know, commensurate as a pastor of that church. Can't close their way, the way, you know, commensurate with the kind church where they serve. And people they provoke me. Some of them won't know that church, they will not know what they talk about. Then they provoke me. There was a time where one church member, I will not call the name, she's very affluent now in Freetown. I don't go call the name. He can't right now the office, he say, Pastor, they sorry for you. I say, what you do? He say, Pastor, now you're not the only person where they suffer in this church. You know, he said, Pastor, now you're not the only person where they suffer in this church. He said, they sorry for you. I was forced to do things every day for going to church. If you don't go to church that day, they don't go query you. When then they scoff the money. I suffered in that church. I suffered. He said, Pastor, he said, they sorry for you. He said, now you know what they suffer now, yeah. Say church leader, they give them money that at this church. You they suffer now, yeah. But I was patient until fortune smiled on me. When you are patient, fortune will smile on you. But the church and the mosque can get for be example of that country. If the church and the mosque not be example, nothing not go before in that country. I guarantee you that. I will get a position, but I guarantee you that until there is sanity in the church, there is sanity in the mosque. Church member they begin to say pastor, then imam, then treat before God. Then say go treat. Because then they look at like say, but this is not money making. This is not business. So when you they talking about pulpit there, I remember I did a church, I've been the church as church member. When pastor they preach, the kind word the way they come on a church member, they more than who say you sit down. You go be surprised. You go be surprised. So tell you they sit down like they preach, they this and that. You don't know what in the church member then they talk to themselves. I don't visit churches there. I don't hear you church member then they talk. When the pastor they preach, the thing the way they talk behind about that pastor there. You think this one the same thing for them go na governance, then go give them money, then say no go thief. Like the way they know say the pastor they thief church money. Or the pastor they siphon church money. They will do it. Because the example don't be shown by the young pastor, by the young imam. Why you feel say they don't go do it? We can't see anything flourishing as alone until these two groups. Because The moment you can talk about church, talk about mosque, people go frown at you. They go frown at you. But we are saying the truth. I make me at the talk with authority. Because nobody under no will tell me say I don't eat with them. I don't help for buy a ground, a church ground for a specific association. I bought a 10-town lot with the money where the churches then that area they give subscription to that area association. We bought a land. I don't know if it is still there. Because that is how I am so passionate about church business. That's why I be so passionate about church business. I went to places that I have never been in the Western area. Places I've never been to. You know, in life, there is one thing they call consistency. How I serve na this church, na so I go serve na this other church. The way I effective na this church, na so I go be effective na this other church. That is how I have done things. That makes sometimes I can look, you know, now when you talk about a church day by tree planting, you know, no, everybody else have forgotten my name. I don't care about it. You understand? Because I poured my sweat, I poured my money, I poured my everything in that church. I took my own money. The first structure we'll get, I took my own money. I spent it on that structure, on that building, and at tea planting. I spent my money in there. I gave my all to that church. I planted that church, literally. But let me tell you one thing. I always say this. I am not looking for favor. I'm not looking for, you know, you don't recognize me. It doesn't matter. But the thing where God puts inside me will never be diminished. If you as a pastor or imam getting kind heart than they for your own people, you go succeed in life. Trust me, because how you bless other people in hearts, and so same way so God will bless you back. If you be a blessing, there are certain things that you know I not go cooperate with any church member of this and that. Some of the deception within now the Bible, nobody's gonna convince me about it. Because I have seen it, I have read. I make us say, go read the Apocrypha books. There are certain books that were written by black people, were not included. Were tossed out, were thrown out. You go see the truth about the black people, you go see the truth about so many things. Same thing with the Quran. There are so many fights where Saladin, if we go to the Islamic books, talk about Saladin. The Hadith, go to the Hadith. Saladin was a black person, but when they make and the Arabs they make like saying a white man. Saladin was a black person. Saladin fought against the what? How you call them? The Crusades. King Richard in crusade. Saladin fought that crusade. Saladin was a black person. But anything we camp and black, they don't want to show what we don't do. The Bible, the Quran, they all two. These are books that really, really diminish black people. Then diminish black people. Let me tell you, go and read. As a Muslim, go and read and see what black people don't do in the war. Go and read. Go and read about Saladin. A commander of the army will rule at that point in time in Jerusalem and its surrounding. Defend in country, defend in property, defend everything. Saladin fought against the crusade of King Richard. I told you people, go and read. Don't be a novice. Don't be a novice. Go and read. Read books. And probably your perspective will change as a pastor. Your perspective will change as a pastress. Your perspective will change as an imam. Even the aspect of imam being only male is getting obsolete these days. Because facts don't begin can say it was not true. Nobody said now only man for being imam. Facts don't begin. You see, these are some of the things that where Africans are for picking for land, We will not agree. We just believe where person talk, where pastor talk, where imam talk, we don't believe. We don't read. We're not reading. And that's why we are where we are today. Because we not agree for it. Some of us we don't come on at that bubble there. We don't come on at that shell there. You understand? Go to books, go to Google. If now Google say Google and read Saturday, why don't tell you so? Go now Google, go read. Go and read books. Go immerse yourself with information. Immerse yourself with information, good information. Say. Don't just believe things hook, line, and sinker. Don't just believe things hook, line, and sinker. Read books, read. Continue to abreast yourself. Continue to motivate yourself. And that is what makes you a person. That is what makes you academic. When you know, makes you academic. When you're able to interact with information, makes you academic. I know we talk about country, but until the church and the mosque then change, then transform, there is no transformation in Israel alone. Mark me words, right? Now I make Kagame say, if you want to be pastor now, or you want to be leader or religious person na Rwanda, you forget first degree. You can get first degree because you don't go common society and just can't interpret the Bible or the Quran like any other like say na how you call it? Now plate of rice now you eat. No. You don't able forget a rational mind. You don't able forget a psychological mind. You don't able for rational. You don't able for see some things that way no say this here are not correct like the Bible. You don't read and so there are certain times that they read some scripture that you don't know say this is not correct. Something's wrong somewhere. Something wrong. It's not correct. You know, this thing not correct. I have to make sure I know more about what you are the read to. Maybe yourself as a pastor, maybe yourself as an imam. There are certain passages that you read, you know say it not make sense. It not make sense to you. You know that. Some of us within at the pastorate, we don't serve for long. We don't read from Genesis to Revelation. I don't read Genesis to Revelation several times. You then read certain things that you don't know say this is not right. This is not right. This something is missing here. I'm just telling you, some of us with a pastor or imam, you don't know say something missing, something not connect here. What's in the missing link? Philosophy, my friends. Go back and see some connection, something the way they not cut off, come out. Something the way they not want to let you know. And that is what I want you to find out. Like I have done. I found out myself. Go and find out. Something is missing. When you don't read the Bible, it's on side. You don't ever read Ecclesiastes. You don't ever see the missing links there. You don't ever read Songs of Solomon. You don't ever read the links there we're missing. You don't ever see something. You don't know say this something is missing here. So many books there. You just see a missing link. Something don't miss something, don't pull off something. And I need for connect that thing there back. And the way how you do that now for go find books there. Find external books there. Subsidiary books there. Put them down and read them. And that's why I have so much contention with pastors in a salon. I have so much contention. I tell people, if you want, you can come on air and diffuse these things. Let's talk. Let's talk. Yeah, I can invite you. Let other people hear us. Let's discuss. If you want for discussion, let's discuss. Let's take out everything. I need a pastor. Trust me. The way I equipped right now, I need a pastor. Lord, we can't talk. If you then at the other side, me then at this side here, where they critique the Bible, come low talk. Let me talk. And while they talk, I want to talk to somebody where do a little bit of Greek and give a little bit of Hebrew like I did. If you not do Greek and Hebrew, I don't get nothing for talk to you about. Because the only thing where you go tell me that the Bible, you go open the beginning. No. That's a no-go area. Somebody will do Greek, a little bit of Greek and Hebrew. Then we can discuss. Because where we go inside and look at certain things, then we go for look at manuscripts. We get for look at certain things where I go pull for you and tell you, say, no, this is song. We they choose a topic. Or people choose a topic for us. And let's discuss that topic. I'm ready. I'm ready for that. Because there are certain things that we misinformations the way they go on, where we no need for allow for making them misinformations and go on. And continuously they are being repeated in churches then. Because I talk about what I know. Islam, I not go talk much about that. But I sure they happen there also. Because I don't see so many people in the come out where they talk about some heels where they happen at the misinterpretations. The Ustaz Sabina that they talk about. Let us talk about the church. Let us talk about the Bible. Let us talk about the misinformations in the Bible. Let us talk about the missing links in the Bible. Let us discuss these missing links. And it will help you a little bit. I have to stop here for today. And bless you all. Thank you for coming, Sal. Dolly, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Patricia, thank you. Samuel, Zebu, thank you, guys. Thank you very much for coming in. I know I can only read these names. I know there are more, but I want to thank you guys, all of you, for coming. And let we help the country. To be very candid, when they say the president they invite her, and they integrate back, and they talk back, say they don't invite that president. I don't give you all the analysis thing. I don't give you the analysis thing as to how then they invite person and how you go invite somebody forgetting him, and they invite another West African president. How they call him name, then they not call Madam Bio's name. Look, that's not done deal. They not invite the man. They not invite him. So not even me. You not go able to convince me. You not go able to convince me. So forget it if you try for convince me. Try for convince other person, but not me, because I know he was not invited. He just crashed that party. He just go crash that inauguration. And he was treated like would I go crash. That's what they treat him. But when I self not get idea, you don't go understand where somebody they say, I just receive information that we have other friends. It's too shameful for make you to defend them kind here. It's shameful. Manish, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for coming in. So we go come back tomorrow and we go talk about them chieftain. We're not able to discuss that today because I have to rush and pick up my daughter. We'll talk about the chieftain tomorrow. Of course, we'll go invest. Then back now one force we get where we need for make a change in salon, because then they for the different chieftains say. And they get a number of people away where then they control. If they are corrupt, that country will be corrupt also. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Good night.